Teeks Analysis by Taylor Stoffel
and Jessica Granado.
Fourth grade Reading and Writing Teeks.
ELAR Teeks strands:
Reading,
writing,
research,
listening and speaking,
oral and written conventions,
and Figure 19.
Reading. Students will be able to read and understand a wide variety of literary and informational text.
Writing. Students will be able to compose a variety of written texts with a clear controlling idea, coherent organization, and sufficient detail.
Research. The student will be able to locate a range of relevant sources, evaluate, synthesize, and present ideas and information.
Listening and speaking. Students will be able to listen and respond to the ideas of others while contributing their own ideas in conversations and in groups.
Oral and written conventions. Students will be able to learn how to use the oral and written conventions of the English language in speaking and writing.
Figure 19. Students will be able to use a range of metacognitive reading skills in both assigned and independent reading to understand an author's message.
Important to know.
5 standards we think are most important to 4th grade. The 5 standards are
4.11 Reading and comprehension of informational text and expository text.
4.15 Writing and writing process.
4.20 Oral and written conventions and conventions.
4.24 Research and gathering resources.
And 4.29 Listening and speaking and teamwork. 4.11 is reading and comprehension of both informational and expository text, where students are expected to maintain the meaning while summarizing its main idea and are able to distinguish between fact and opinion, along with describing explicit and implicit relationships, and are able to locate information within the text using multiple text features.
4.15 is both writing and the writing process. Students are expected to compose text by following the writing process of planning, drafting, revising, editing, and publishing.
4.20 Oral and written conventions and conventions. Students use academic language when both speaking and writing. Students understand the functions of speech in the context of reading, writing, and speaking. Some examples of parts of speech used are verbs, nouns, adjectives, adverbs, etc.
4.24 Research and gathering sources. Students need to be able to locate, explore, record, and organize information from a wide range of relevant sources without plagiarizing and giving credit to those sources. Some of those sources should be both oral and written.
4.29 Listening, speaking, and teamwork. Students will demonstrate participation and the willingness to work with all group members. Students will also collaborate in both teacher and student-led discussions while giving cohesive responses that build upon the ideas of others.
But why?
Because all throughout students' education and even later in life in their jobs, students will need to know how to use comprehension of text, writing process, parts of speech, research, and teamwork.
2. Student expectations that are most difficult to teach. The 2 student expectations are 1. Reading 4.4 and 2. Writing 4.18. 4.4 Reading comprehension of literary text poetry is difficult for students in that the main obstacle for students to understand poetry is our tendency to be literal in communication. We teach our students to be literal in our communication through both speaking and writing in order to be understood. Poetry is a hard concept for our students because it is an art form that is not literal and is expressed as an artistic arrangement and style for literary composition.
4.18 Writing, expository, and procedural text. Many students experience difficulty in mastering the writing process, especially students with learning disabilities. For those students, the focus is exclusively on lower writing skills, while the other students are placed in classes where frequent writing is emphasized. However, students have few opportunities to compose meaningful, authentic text when most writing instruction focuses on writing transcription skills, such as handwriting and spelling. And usually there's very little time devoted to teaching the needed writing skills and strategies. Also, teachers feel inadequate to teach writing because of instructional capabilities and valued resources. Readiness standards versus supporting standards.
Readiness standards are essential for success in current grade, important for preparedness for the next grade, support college and career readiness, address broad and deep concept skills and ideas.
Supporting standards. Although they are introduced and or reinforced in the current grade, they may be emphasized in a subsequent year. They play a role in preparing students for the next grade, but not a central role, and they address more narrowly defined ideas.
Tested standards versus untested standards. On this slide is an example of the tested standards for 4.2 Reading Vocabulary Development. The highlighted portion in green is the tested standards.
Following the previous example, Standard 4.2 Reading Vocabulary Development, this slide represents the untested standards highlighted in pink, aka red. The items are not tested.
Consequences of having standards not tested. Teachers will focus only on the standards that will be tested and put those standards that are not tested on the back burner. Students are only learning how to pass a test, not understand the content of the standards.
This concludes our analysis of the ELAR TEKS for 4th grade.